The reticulated python, Python reticulatus, is the world's longest snake species and a member of the python family, Pythonidae. Wild individuals more than 6 meters, 19 feet 8 inches, are rare, but the species reliably exceeds that length more often than any other snake on Earth. The Guinness-recognized record holder, a captive specimen named Medusa, kept in Kansas City, Missouri, was measured at 7.67 meters, 25 feet 2 inches, and 158.8 kilograms, 350 pounds, on October 12, 2011. Reticulated pythons range across South and Southeast Asia, with introduced populations in Florida and Puerto Rico. The reticulated python is native to Southeast Asia and is known worldwide for its incredible length. Some individuals have exceeded 20 feet long, making them among the largest snakes ever recorded. Unlike venomous snakes, reticulated pythons are constrictors. They overpower prey using powerful coils and muscular strength. What makes them especially famous is their massive size, beautiful scale patterns, strong feeding instincts, surprising speed and agility. To reptile enthusiasts, they are incredible animals. To many others, they represent pure fear. In 1993, American zoologist Arnold G. Kluge ran a cladistic analysis on morphological characters and concluded that the reticulated python should remain within Python.
The reticulated python's net-like pattern consists of bold, dark oval or triangular markings on a lighter yellow or brown background, with smaller pale-centered shapes bordering the larger markings. The skin is iridescent and shifts through rainbow-like color casts depending on the lighting angle. Females are notably larger than males. Females commonly exceed 6 meters, 20 feet, and may weigh around 90 kilograms, 200 pounds, while males are typically smaller, averaging closer to 4.5 meters, 15 feet, and weighing substantially less. Reports of wild specimens reaching 10 meters, 33 foot, trace mainly to a 1912 Sulawesi specimen described in older literature, but these claims are now considered uncorroborated. The largest scientifically measured wild reticulated python was a Balikpapan East Kalimantan specimen at 6.95 meters, 22 foot 10 inches, and 59 kilograms, 130 pounds, measured under anesthesia in 2003. Reticulated pythons, a non-venomous constrictor species not native to Florida, hold the record as one of the world's longest snake species. Females generally reach greater lengths than males, with most wild specimens reaching around 13 to 16 feet, although some rare examples may exceed 20 feet. Typical specimens weigh about 30 to 40 pounds, with a max reported weight of 300 pounds for a female specimen.
These pythons eat a broad range of animals as their prey, including wild boar, birds, fish, rats, chickens, smaller primates in their native range in Asia, and almost any other animal fauna they can consume. Reticulated pythons are ambush predators with low metabolic rates, capable of waiting motionless for long periods until prey approaches. Like other pythons, they kill by constriction, coiling around prey and cutting off circulation. Younger pythons feed primarily on rodents and other small mammals such as bats and tree shrews. As they grow, they take on larger prey, including civets, binturongs, primates, wild boar, and deer species over 60 kilograms, 132 pounds. In areas where they live close to humans, they have been recorded preying on chickens, cats, and dogs, and rare cases of attacks on people, mostly in Sulawesi, have been documented over the last century. Reports of reticulated pythons originate from as far north as Largo, near Tampa, though most sightings occur in southeast Florida, in and around Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Observations of these pythons most likely stem from released or escaped pets, and the species has not yet been introduced into Florida's environment.
Reticulated pythons compete with native species for food and habitat. Due to the wide-ranging diet of the reticulated python, they may consume federally listed species, such as burrowing owls and other birds of concern, as well as wading birds and mammals. Reticulated pythons may prey upon domestic pets and livestock. However, the python's small numbers throughout Florida indicate a relatively low potential for impact, and their preference for wet and warm habitats mean they will be unlikely to migrate much further north. The highly seasonal nature of their reproduction also limits their potential for damage, as they may go years without reproducing. Reticulated pythons are primarily nocturnal, often retreating into trees, tall grasses, crevices, or caves during periods of inactivity. Juveniles spend much of their time off the ground, in trees or shrubs, where the cover protects them from predators and lets them ambush smaller prey. Larger adults are mostly terrestrial, since their size limits how easily they can move through branches. Reticulated pythons can be highly defensive when threatened. Startled animals raise their heads from the ground, hiss loudly, and may strike repeatedly. The species also uses water for concealment, both to avoid threats and to ambush prey approaching the shoreline.
Across much of the range, reticulated pythons breed between February and March. During courtship, males use tactile movements and their cloacal spurs, vestigial hind limb structures near the base of the tail, to stimulate females. If the female is receptive, she lifts her tail and mating proceeds. Clutches range widely, from 8 to over 100 eggs, with most clutches falling between 25 and 50 eggs. Under favorable conditions, with abundant food and stable temperatures, females may produce 1 clutch per year. In poorer conditions, reproduction may occur only once every 2 to 3 years. Incubation runs about 60 to 90 days, and the hatchlings are independent from the moment they emerge. Parthenogenesis, a form of asexual reproduction in which embryos develop without fertilization by a male, has been documented in captive reticulated pythons. The first confirmed case in this species involved an 11-year-old captive named Thelma, who produced 6 fertilized eggs without ever mating. Genetic analysis of the offspring confirmed they carried only her DNA.
Reticulated pythons are heavily hunted for the international skin trade and are sometimes consumed as meat. They are one of the most economically important reptiles in the world. The IUCN currently lists the species as least concern because of its wide distribution, but local population declines have been documented in heavily harvested areas. Captive reticulated pythons are also in demand in the exotic pet trade for their many color and pattern variations, known as morphs. Keeping a snake of this size presents real challenges, including parasites, respiratory infections, and a stress-related behavior known as pushing, in which an enclosed animal repeatedly rubs or presses against the enclosure walls, sometimes causing swelling or permanent damage to the face and mouth.